YouTube, we have the Honda Fourtrax out here. It's a 300. Just put these 28-inch Zillas on here. Bought them used. They were at a great price. So this is how they fit. This is just straight up bolted on. No other mods. Other than this is a homemade bracket lift, which I don't even think it lifts it, to be honest. Very wore out shock. So it looks like what we're going to do today, we're going to swap out this shock for one off of a 2019, well actually it's a 2013 Honda Rancher 420. This is the rear shock. You can see it's a lot longer. It's supposed to give us about 2 inches of lift, because the only concern is this rubs a little bit when it's squatting, or if I got two people on here. So that's a cheap lift. And plus this shock's very worn out. I mean, one hand doesn't take much and it's already squatting. So yeah, simple install. Just jack it up, unbolt the old one, bolt the new one, put it back down. So what you do is you jack up the frame. You don't want to jack up the swing arm because that's just going to compress the shock. And when you jack it up, and remember you unloosen the bolts beforehand, they'll just drop right on out. Super easy. And there's a bolt at the bottom and there's one at the top right up there. You see I've already partially gotten it out. Just take it out. And this is the side-by-side comparison. This is the Honda shock. This is the Rancher shock. And turn them sideways. You see that the Rancher shock is about 2 inches longer, approximately. Maybe 1.5 inches or so. So to give it extra lift. And this shock is just completely worn out. Compresses super easy, so hopefully this will be better. Of course it's going to ride stiffer, but it's better than having a blown out shock. You got to jack it up a little high to make sure that you can get the swing arm to drop low enough to put this shock in. See, I had to add some blocks to get my jack to go all the way up far enough for me to add this shock in. After installing the Rancher shock, it sits up a lot higher. We're going to swap out the front shocks for some Rancher 420 shocks that I ordered from eBay. And so you can see these are the factory shocks. A little worn. We got, how much ground clearance do we have? We have at the frame 11.5 inches exactly at the frame at the front. Let's see, right here, this is hanging at 11.5. But that's how much we have. And that includes these DIY homemade trash brackets that someone made. But yeah, 11.5 inches, and these are on the 28-inch Maxxis Zillas that I bought used. Again, remember we swapped the rear for the Rancher shock. Gave us about 2 inches of lift, so it sits up a little bit higher now, and it also does not sag nearly as bad when you get on it. Before you could push it all the way down with one hand. Now it's pretty stiff. So first thing you want to do, you want to get a jack it up a little bit, unbolt the lower shock mounts and the top shock mounts, jack it all the way up, let them droop, pull the bolts out. I'm going to swap in the new ones and bolt them up. These are the Rancher shocks I ordered off of eBay. They come from a 2008 Rancher, and again, super nice. Again, you see these are the Rancher shocks compared to the factory shocks. Slight difference in size. We got a 14mm for the front and the back to get these off. So I got that wrench sitting back there. Because if you try to take the shock out when it's not jacked up off the ground, it's not going to want to move. So see how easy that came out? Just make sure you've got it jacked up off the ground. And you can easily pull the bolt out. Same thing with the other side. I'm going to hop you guys over here. We got our 14s ready. Put it on here. These are actually pretty loose. I'm not surprised. This foil has been full of surprises. So, but it's all right. You know, I knew there was gonna be a lot of problems with this four-wheeler. I bought it to make videos. So. See, pulls right on out. Same method for the top 2 bolts. Again, for the top shock mount, it's just 14s again. Just untighten that, and then once you've got it untightened, it'll come out. Take it out, we see the Rancher shock is about an inch or so longer than the factory Honda 300 shock. Right off the bat, you can see the difference with how the Rancher is pushing it down a little bit further than the factory one. Got a little dark on me, but I got them installed. Remember, it was 11.5 inches with the 28-inch Maxxis Zillas and the homemade lift. Now it's sitting at 12.5 inches, so basically I got an inch of lift with taking the old shocks off and the old bracket lift that they built off and swapping to the Rancher shocks. It gave me an inch on the front and it gave me 2 inches in the back. Overall, definitely recommend. It's a lot better than a bracket lift in my opinion.